When learning a language, it's important to get some of the main words in your head. And today we're going to look at the 44 most essential verbs. It's really important because once you've got your verbs, you're able to make sentences. And when you can make sentences, you can speak the language. So let's dive in. So my name is Dan and you're watching ISpeakSpokeSpoken.com. And this is our first. And the first one, as you probably know, is to be. So to be, things like I am a teacher or they are happy. Now let's just have a look at why I'm not saying be and I'm saying am and are. It's because when we use the verb to be in a sentence and when we use it with I, he, she, let's just have a right. So I am, he is, and that's also she is. We can have he, she is, they are. So I am, she is, they are, we are. So you can put we are as well. So remember, it changes. It changes to do with when you're saying he or she, whatever it's, a third person or third person, whatever. Just make sure you get that right because that's important. So pronunciation-wise, we have this long sound here, this E, so be. But actually, pronunciation-wise, we're looking more of these things. So actually, the base verb we only use when we use the infinitive. Okay, to have. So we can use it, for example, with got. Or we can use it without got. Now, British people use got, so let's have a look at the sentences. She has a car, or she's got a car. We have 2 children, or we have got 2 children. So let's have a look at why we say this and why we can change it. So for example, if we say she has a car, and we don't use the got, then has stays in its usual form. But if we were to use got as well, we can say she's, and has can become this contracted version. And then we say got a car. Now it's usually typical to do that. We wouldn't say she has got. We would always, if you use got, you very often make this contraction. So she's got, we've got, okay? But that's a British English thing, and we can also say have. I do it all the time. I say I have, we have, she has. It's not always the way that we have to put got there, but it's useful and you can use it. Same rules as before. So she has got, we have got, they have got. So we have we, and then we can use they as well. So it's the same kind of format as we have with the first one, and it will go on throughout all the verbs that we use. Okay, so number 3 is to do. I do my homework every evening. What do you do for a living? Now you can see there, especially on the second one, now have a look, those 2 do's are the verbs. So this is what we use to mention the action, okay? So, but this one here is slightly different. This is our auxiliary. So this is the auxiliary verb that we use to ask the question. So actually in this sentence, there are 2 do's, but they're doing very different things. There's something to remember. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. Okay, number 4 is go. I go to work by bus. I went to Paris last summer. Now, did you notice that when I said went, I used the past form of go? And because it's an irregular verb, then the word is different. So we don't put the ed on the end. Like, for example, with start, and then past would be started. With go, we have a different word. So the past participle, or the verb 3, is gone. So I have gone, or he has gone. To go, past went, past participle gone. Okay? That will come up in a few different verbs that we talk about today. So let's just remember it, that actually when you have an irregular verb, that you need to learn all of the verb. You can't just apply the ed. So number 5 is to make. She makes delicious cakes. They made a lot of noise. Okay, so can you see what happens here when we use she or he? We have this third person plural. So actually, it's very important that you remember when you're using he and she that you do put this S on the end. So makes, he makes, she makes. They make, I make. Okay? They made, this is the past form. So we have another, they made a lot of noise. Now, remember, sometimes people get make and do mixed up. So, for example, if you say make a mistake and do your homework, you can't say I make my homework, because make in this sense is like a construction type of thing. So if I make my homework, I can only say that in a situation where I'm constructing something for my homework. So if I say I do my homework, it's like you're actioning it, you're making it happen, all right? That's very important. To make a mistake, again, the mistake happens, all right? So to do a mistake is like you're actioning a mistake, you don't do it consciously. So that's why we use make a mistake in that form as well. But there are many different ways that this is confused. You just need to find out when and how and not to do it yourself. So number 6 is to take. Please take an umbrella. I took the book from the shelf. And there we have the simple please take. It's a suggestion. So it's kind of in a simple form there. And I took is this past form. Just let's have a look quickly at the pronunciation, this A sound, to take something. It's not too much of a difficult word for people to pronounce, but just make sure you get that vowel sound right. So A, ache, take. To get, number 7, I got a gift for my birthday. She gets angry really easily. So let's have a look at the differences and why we say what we say. I got, this is past form. She gets, and we have she. And this is the third person form. This is why this is gets. And remember that the difference between British and American English, because when we get to verb 3, when we get to the past participle, sometimes, like in UK English, we say got, but in US English, they say gotten. For example, my food has gotten cold in American English, but in British English, we would say my food has got cold. Okay, we don't use gotten in British English. In fact, it's creeping in. People are starting to use it, and you can use it no problem. Nobody's going to say no. But actually, more people in the US use this. It's okay, and it makes more sense, actually. I mean, as a British person, I would say that. It makes more sense to use the American way because it follows the rule, right? Okay, number 8, to give. He gave me a present. Can you give me some advice? Give is a very short sound, this very short vowel sound, so I. We have this give sound. Although it has an E, which sometimes makes the vowel sound longer, in this sense, give is the I. It's very short. So he gave, as in that's past form. Can you give? So if you're asking a question and it's simple form, we use give. Also, third verb, so verb 3, past participle, we use given. So he has given me a present. And give is a nice easy one actually, but it's a useful one, and it's one you need to know. Now remember, everything that we go through today, you can go onto the I above, you can download, you can take the test. If you're on mobile, you'll find the link just underneath the description. The same if you're on tablet, I think, as well. Number 9 is to see. I see a bird in the tree. Have you seen this movie? There's 2 ways we can use it. And you can see the last time we say, have you seen? Then this is actually verb 3. So we're using that third verb. And I see is this simple form, I see a verb. Remember, this is a longer sound as well. So when you're saying the word see, you're taking it further. See, okay? And this is why we've got this long sound here. And you can practice this. In fact, when you practice each one, which I'm sure you will start to see the difference between some that are shorter, like give, and see, which is longer. And actually, once you know how to pronounce each one, you'll never have to think about it again. Number 10, to know. She knows a lot about history. Do you know where he lives? Okay, so what do we have here? Well, we have the she, which means we have the third person here. Do you know? So this is a simple form, but we have the question part there. Now, can you think about how we make the third verb? Well, actually, with verb 3, we say known. So I have known him for many years, or I had known him, or she has known him. So we have the potential in front of here to put have, had, or has, depending on the tense that you're using. So number 11, to think. I think it will rain today. What do you think about this idea? Actually, so we use it to, 1, find out what people's thoughts are. What do you think about? And I think to tell them how you think, what your thoughts are. So I think it will rain today. Maybe also remember, if we use he or she, it would be thinks. So he, she thinks. Okay, just remember that if we do that. It's kind of, I know it's obvious now, but as we go on, you'll start to see the patterns. Important way of talking or saying this, to think. So remember, although there's not a G here, we don't have the G, but we still have the ng sound, so think, okay? I think. And that's why we have this ng sound here. Just to remember, you don't say think. And some people do. I hear it sometimes in different languages when I'm teaching people from different places. That it's very important to get that ing sound as well there. Okay. Number 12 is to come. Come here, please. They are coming to the party. So we are seeing a tense that we haven't seen before in this video. We're seeing the continuous. And of course, any of these verbs you can make into continuous. So you just need to remember that although I've told you a lot of different verbs and we haven't talked about that, they can all be put into continuous form. Come here. This is a statement or an order. So this is why it's in a simple form. Come here, please. And then this, remember, it's one of those words that's got a very simple vowel, but this is a very easy vowel to get wrong depending on your home language, okay? So you might hear people say kam or kum, but it's actually It's like the sound. So I always use an arrow to show it. So it's up and it's come here. They are coming to the party. Okay, so it's and make sure you get this real nice sound. Number 13, to look. Look at the stars. She looked happy. Now, there's two slightly different meanings, same verb of course. And remember, this sound is slightly different from the one we were looking at before with the word come. Because come is like up, and look is like book. Okay, so to look at something. If we say, and let's just say this for fun, if we say, if we use this one, if we say luck, then actually it's a different word completely and it means something different, to be lucky. Okay, so you must pronounce it correctly, otherwise it's the wrong word. Very important there. So look at the stars. She looked happy. This is telling someone to do something, so look, use your eyes and look. And this is to say how somebody appeared. So we can use this verb in two slightly different ways. She looked happy. And you can change this maybe to she appeared happy. She appeared happy. And so if you can change the verb, then it's okay, but sometimes it's just nice to use the simple verb and it will make things much easier for you. Number 14 is to want. I want a new phone. Do you want some coffee? Now, in that sense, it's very similar the way we use the word in these two sentences. I want, simple, something that I want. Do you want? So you're asking the question, do you want? And again, simple form, if we're using he, she wants, he wants. If it's the past, this one's a regular verb, so we would say wanted, okay? And that's the same with verb 3, so past and verb 3. He had wanted, he has wanted. She has wanted to do this for many years, for example. So remember, this is the same as well, okay? Regular verbs. Number 15 is to use. She uses a laptop for work. Can I use your pen? So use is a word that we use all the time. Can you see how we use that? So it's talking about being active with something, using a computer, using your car. Can I use your pen? Can I have it to do something with? So it's a very useful word. And can you see how many times I've used it just in this video? Again, we can ting, ting, ting if you want. So very important, she uses, we've got this, again, third person. Can I use, it's a simple form, can I use your pen? Pronunciation-wise, it's very important to see that some words beginning with you don't have the y sound, but this one does. So at the beginning of the word, this y, and then we've got the long oo, so use. For example, if the word understand, remember understand starts with a U, but we don't say y'understand, okay? So just to be aware that you need to make sure you know when you see a word beginning with U, how it starts pronunciation-wise. And this one starts with you. So number 16 is to find. I found my keys. Have you found a solution? So if you notice, what we do here is we use the two past forms. And we have this, I found my keys, so past simple. Let's just write here, past simple. And have you found, this is the verb 3, so this is the, let's have a look here. This is when we use the past participle. So have you found, have you noticed though, that found past form and found past participle form, verb 3, are the same. So they don't change at all. In fact, we don't put ed on the end. And it doesn't have an irregular form that's different. So just something to remember. It's one of those verbs that are slightly different from the others. So this, to find, we have this I sound. So to find, but actually when we have found sound, we have this sound, okay? So it's ow, found. Okay, just remember that everything that you see today, you can get on this I above, and you can also do the test, and you can go through the video again. You can go through the slides, you can have a look at everything we've done. You can practice that pronunciation, and you can make sure you really get these words in your head. And once you've got these essential verbs in your head, you will have plenty of different opportunities to use them. And these are really the words that are used most often, the verbs that are used most often. So number 17 is to tell. She told me a secret. Can you tell me the time? Now, it's nice and easy, this one actually, and the word or the pronunciation that we use is just eh. So tell. Tell me the time. Can you tell me a secret? Okay, she told me is the past. So she told, past form. Here we go. Can you tell? So can you tell? Nice and simple. Okay, nice and easy. It's talking about you speaking to me about some information you know. So can you tell me? And she told me this. We use this a lot in reported speech. That's very important to know as well. And we can also use it when we talk about tell a story. So telling a story. Okay, so I told him a story. She is telling a story. We can use that as well. Okay, excellent. Number 18 is to ask. I asked him a question. Can you ask her to call me? This word is kind of easy in its pronunciation. It's a long R, so ask. Nice and easy there. But what gets difficult is when you have the past form. So I asked him. So what happens there is actually you have this long sound, but then you have this asked, and it's almost straight away a t. So you don't have anything between, which makes it quite difficult. So you have to just practice it. You can't say asked, doesn't work. It must be asked. And you feel there's this kt, almost like a changing of a click. Asked, asked. So I asked him a question, and it takes some practice. So this one you might want to stop and just kind of practice and practice. Asked. So number 19 is to work. He works in a bank. I'm working on a project at the moment. Okay, so now the word work, many people know. It has this sound, so it's work. So he works, same rule. Here we are, third person. I am working, so this is the continuous form. Okay, here we are. Continuous form. Now, what's important here is that, again, you look at this pronunciation because works is also very similar. Remember, asked, it's not quite so difficult, but actually works is another kind of way you have to think about works. It's ks, ks, so works. I think it's something that's a little bit more easy than last time, than asked. But once you've got these, you'll be fine. And once you understand how to say these, it's not a problem at all. But just work on the pronunciation. Because, you know, we know the word work, right? But we don't know the things around it. So just make sure that you get the pronunciation right, the vowels right, and it'll all be good. Number 20 is to feel. I feel happy today. She felt a sharp pain. So what we have here then is we have I feel, simple version. This is the E, long E, I feel. And then, but you see we have quite a different pronunciation with the past form. She felt. And felt is using this E. And actually it's kind of, it almost writes in pronunciation form in the phonetic alphabet than it does in the normal alphabet, felt. So make sure that you understand the differences between feel and felt, okay? I know this, I'm saying this is because in my experience as a teacher, I've heard people say felt. And it's fine, it's a mistake that's quite normal. I would make the same mistake myself. In fact, I have when learning other languages, but just make sure that you change this E to E, so felt, instead of felt, because that's not right. Number 21 is to try. I will try to finish this by tomorrow. She tried to open the door. Now, what do we know about try? Well, actually, the interesting thing about this word is that this Y at the end doesn't make the E sound like in happy or silly or busy. It has an I sound. So it's just slightly different. But, you know, once you know this, you won't need to be told again. The English language is strange. We all know that. So I is the end, the I sound. I will try to finish this by tomorrow. She tried. So even in past form, you still have the same I sound. But actually, in the past form, you can see why it's I, because it's a different kind of form. So this is why it works as it does. The word why is the same as well. So she tried to open the door, okay? Just try this pronunciation once or twice. Number 22 is to leave. I leave home at 8 a.m. They left the party early. So, pronunciation change between past and simple. Leave is this E sound, leave, and then left is, we have this E sound here. So, left. So, I leave home at 8 a.m. They left the party early. And just remember that on left we have this, again, we have this ft at the end. So, let's have a look how we write this. In pronunciation-wise, left, left. There's nothing here between it. It's literally like consonant, consonant, okay? Like asked, say left, all right? Try it a few times just to make sure you get it. Once your mouth is used to this, you'll be fine with all these different pronunciation types. But the last couple of words, as you've noticed, have had a lot of these consonant forms where we have consonant, consonant, consonant sound. It's just a process of getting used to this and getting your mouth used to that. So number 23 is to call. I'll call you later. He called out my name. Again, with call, I will, you can say I'll. So this can become I'll. All right, just remember when you're using will, you can do that. Call, this is or sound, call. And with called, the past form, you have the ed on the end, which just makes the d sound. So it becomes like this, called. Okay? It's just easy to know. Remember, there are other variants, but on this occasion, it's just the d sound, called. Number 24, to put. Put the book on the table. She put the keys in her bag. So, it's like placing something, to put. I put something on the table, I place something in here. So put the book on the table is, the action of putting. She put the keys in her bag. Now, the interesting thing about this word, we have this sound, so it's like book, look, could, just remember that. But actually, the past form is the same. So I put, yesterday I put, and I have put. So it doesn't change, actually. It's the same all the way through. One of the words that is always put, never changed. It doesn't matter what form or verb form or tense form you use, it's always the same. Good to know. Number 25, to mean. What does this word mean? He means well. Okay, so slightly different meanings here. I used it again. This sound E, so mean, it's a long E sound. What does this word mean? Okay, so you can use it in questions. It's often used in questions. Or you can say, look, this is what I mean. This is what I'm trying to say, okay? He means well. This is actually something we say when the person's intention is good. So he means well. He's trying to do the right thing. And again, we have this third person form here as well. Number 26 is to keep. Keep this secret. She keeps her room clean. Okay, so what do we mean by keep? We have this E sound, long E sound. To keep is to have something in your possession, to keep it safe. So to keep a secret is to hold a secret without telling anyone. Okay, so keep it safe. We can keep something safe in our house. I'll keep it for you. I'll hold it for you. Okay, holding and keeping are very similar, but just not physical, if you know what I mean. She keeps her room clean. We have the she, we have the s. There you go, the third person thing. What's kind of important is to think about how else it's used. So not just for having something in your possession and keeping it safe, for example, but if we say, for example, he keeps calling me, it's, for example, somebody doesn't stop doing something. So he keeps calling me all the time. It's like somebody does something over and over again. And it's usually a negative form. It's like, oh, she keeps saying that, or he keeps calling me. It's like something that you don't particularly maybe like. But it can be used in that sense as well. And remember, of course, because it's he, we have the third person as well. Think about it as an irregular form. So keep, and then the past is he kept. Again, he has kept. So this is the past forms for both past simple and verb 3. Okay, so there's two different tenses that are the same. It's the same sound, the same word. 27, to let him in. She let me use her phone. Now, let's have a look at these, because we can see that the pronunciation is so a nice sound, very short. Let him in, it's like allow him in. So let and allow are very similar. She let me use her phone. So like she allowed me to use her phone. Now, you might be thinking, but isn't she lets me use her phone? Well, if it's simple and if it's ongoing like a habit, but actually if it's past form, it's she let me. So it's she let me use her phone in the past, and there's no S, because when it's past form, we don't have this third person. Okay, right. Let's have a look at another one. I've just used it myself, so let's go. Let's go. Now, what's happening here then? So here, we're just saying, it's like a phrase. We're saying, oh, let us go. And it's actually short for let us go. And it's a turn of phrase. So meaning-wise, we just know that it means, come on, let's go. Let all of us go. And actually, maybe it's to do with allow, I'm not sure. But actually, to be honest, we use it very often to say, come on, let's go, or let's see this, or let's do that, or let's go to the cinema. It's just all about using everyday language. It's like I would say it was more functional language. It's something you need to know. It's quite useful. So number 28 is begin. The meeting will begin at 10 a.m. She began to cry. So let's have a look at what is different between the two here. So remember, we have these two syllables, but actually there's no schwa sound here. There's no sound here. So it's begin on the simple form. The meeting will begin at 10 a.m. She began to cry. So look, what we have here is we have this sound, She began to cry. Okay. Now, what about verb 3? So if we're looking at verb 3, past participle, what do we say? We say begun. I have begun my studies, or I have begun to find my life purpose, or something like that. Begun is to start, but I have begun. Okay, and again, this is this sound, so sound, I have begun. So we have 3 different sounds in the same way of the same word if you use it in 3 different ways. And there's not much different, nothing more than just the vowel change, which is it's quite unique actually with this word. So I would practice it. Go back, practice, try the different ways of saying it. Begin, began, begun. Because are very similar. It depends what your first language is. But make sure you get the differences. Because began, begun, began, begun, have begun. Okay, 29 is to seem. It seems like a good idea. He seems tired. So how do we find the special thing with this one? Well, seem is a weird word because a lot of people are not quite sure how to use it. And it means like appeared. If somebody appears to be something. So it seems like a good idea. It appears as if it's a good idea. He seems tired. He appears, or I think he might be tired. I can see that he's tired. So if you think about this word see, that I can see, and seem is it sort of, I can see this. So to me it seems he's tired, if you know what I mean. So practice how to use this. Don't worry about making mistakes. This is the main thing. Don't worry about mistakes. If you want to use seem and you think it's the right place to use it, use it. If it's wrong, no one's going to care. But if it's right, you got it right and your English just got better. Number 30 is to help. Can you help me with this? She helped him with his homework. So straight away we can see it's a regular verb. So we have the ed here after when it's in the past form. Can you help? It's a very simple word in the fact that we use the sound, help. Can you help me? Nice and easy. She helped. He helped. They have helped. So even verb 3 is exactly the same as this one. It's kind of a nice word. Once you know this, you've got some really important vocab to use. People use this a lot. If you're learning English, it's a nice way to say, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this sentence? Works well. It's a good word to know. Number 31 is to show. Show me your new dress. He showed us his photos. So again, we can see it's a regular verb. We have the ed here. Show me, simple form. You can ask a question. Show me this. It's using a statement to kind of get something out of someone. We talked on the last verb about how useful the word help was if you're learning English. But actually show is also quite important if you're learning English. Can you show me how to do this? Can you show me how? So it's like to ask to show, or to show is to give an example. Show me. There you go. This is it. I'll show you. Okay, so it's very useful to know. Okay, let's have a look at the pronunciation just quickly. We have this sh sound, which we haven't seen today yet in any of these verbs, I don't believe. And o, so show, show. Again, practice that. We've got the I where you can get all the slides and you can have a look at what we've done today. You can pause the video, you can go back, you can use the skip 15 seconds forward and back if you want to learn and practice this pronunciation. But I would definitely say that maybe practice this once or twice. Show. Nice easy word to say, but once you've got it, you've got it. Number 32 is to hear. I hear music. Did you hear what she said? Okay, so let's have a look at this. There's a few things I want to tell you about this word. First of all, we have this ear sound. And actually, depending on whether you're UK or American English, this last sound is either there or not. If you're using American, it'll be here, and it will work. But if you're using English, UK English, you might not need this at the end. It might just be here, ear. You just use the ear there. So I hear music, telling people what you can hear, okay? Did you hear? And again, a question. What about past? I heard. So it's actually quite different. You've got this sound, you see? So actually we can put the H in there. Let's do that. I heard. I heard. I have heard that. So again, this is past simple and also past participle, verb 3. Okay? Heard and heard. Different sound, this sound. Another thing I want to tell you about is, what about this word here? What's the pronunciation of that? Well, it's exactly the same as this. Exactly the same. So here and there, like I'm here, there. How do you know the difference? How do you know how to spell it? The clue, and very important, is you hear with your ear, okay? And if it's to hear music, it's got the word ear in the word. So it makes it nice and easy there. You don't have to worry too much. It's a nice little trick that I tell my students and they always appreciate it. Number 33 is play. Children are playing outside. He plays his guitar. So you can see we've got two slightly different meanings here, but essentially kind of the same. So let's look at the pronunciation first. A, so play, A sound. The children are playing. Okay, when we use the continuous, we just put the ing on the end. It's nice and easy. Children are playing outside. He plays the guitar. Again, we have he plays. So if we have the S on the end, of course, it's not past. It's a routine, so it's something he does. Either a routine or a state. So he plays the guitar. That's what he does. We could say, if we were to say he plays the guitar every day, then we have a routine. Okay, so there's two different ways. But without this, then it's just a state. He is a person that plays the guitar. That's his hobby. Number 34 is to run. She runs every morning. I had to run to catch the bus. So, what do we say here? Well, actually, this happens quite a lot to me because I'm always late for buses. So I had to run to catch the bus. It means basically you're using this word in a simple form and it's about one event. She runs every morning is, again, we have the third person form, and then every morning gives us our routine. It's kind of different from what I just told you in the last verb. Pronunciation wise, it's so it's this up sound. So run, to run. Be careful that you don't use the incorrect pronunciation, because I've seen this happen. If you, for example, by accident say I ran, it's very easy to say ran when you want to say run, because ran is the past form, okay? So if I say ran with this sound, it's the past form. So just be careful of that. You must get the pronunciation right if you want people to understand the correct tense that you're trying to say. 35 is to move. Move the chair, please. They are moving to a new house. So, I think the key to remember here is this oo sound, a move. Not often a word that people get wrong, actually. I think when you know how to say this word, you say it kind of correctly most of the time. Move the chair is asking someone to put something from one place to another. They are moving to a new house. This is a continuous form, so it's in progress at the time. We can also say, so we can use it here to talk about them moving from house to house, so the process of moving house. But also, if I move like this, I'm saying I am moving, so I am moving now. So there's this thing that happens now, and there's this process of moving from one place to another. So you can use it in two ways. Useful verb, very useful verb, something that you can use all the time. 36, to like. I like pizza. She likes to read books. Okay, so what do we have here? We have the classic, she likes. This is this third person form, to read books. So it's something she likes to do. It's a routine for her. It's a habit for her. I like pizza. It's like a state. I like it. What about if we're looking at the past form then? So here we have, so liked, I liked. Now, have you noticed how, although there's a D here, a D, we actually say liked. So that's what happens sometimes. So let's have a look at this. So it will look like that, liked, liked. It's another one you need to kind of go over again yourself, so liked. Remember what I told you about asked. We have this kind of almost like a clasp. Remember that's how you want to try and make the word sound, like it's clicking together. 37, to live. They live in London. She lives a healthy lifestyle. So what do we have in this part here? They live. Remember, it's this I sound. So they live in London. Now, we will go on to other pronunciations of this word in a bit, but let's just have a look at the sentences we have here. She lives a healthy lifestyle. Again, it's she lives, so we have this third person, and it's about her routine, her habit. So, why do some people say they live in London? Because actually there are two ways to say this word, but in the verb form, it's like this, okay? In the thing form, in kind of a noun form, this is when we can use I, this type of pronunciation, okay? But be careful that this is only on noun form. So live animals, for example. The animals that are living, when you say in the noun form, they are live animals. Okay, so let's make sure that this is completely separate. This is noun, this is verb. All right, get that right. Also, you might see if you're doing something with a TV, you might see in the corner this word live, and it's live. This is how we say I. If something is like current, actual, happening now, live. Okay? 38, to believe. I believe in honesty. Do you believe in ghosts? So, to believe is a nice word actually, because you can use it in many different things. You can use it in conversations. You can use it to find out more about people that you're talking to. So, but let's have a look at the pronunciation because it's a little bit more complicated. So, believe. So here is where the stress is on the second syllable of the word, believe, and this is a long E. The first one, I, believe, believe. So the first one's short, the second one long, believe. Try it one more time, believe. You see, once you get the flow of it, it's kind of easy to say. So I believe in honesty. Do you believe in ghosts? You can put anything here. If you want to have a nice conversation with somebody, you can start a conversation about all sorts of things. Do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? It's a good way to start a conversation. And it's actually quite a high level question, really. 39 is to hold. Hold my hand. She held the baby. Can you see how we've got slightly different pronunciations between hold and held? Hold is this one. Oh, hold, hold. Okay, hold my hand. To hold. Hold my hand. She held, past. She held the baby. It's got this E sound. Held, okay? S sound, excuse me. So she held the baby. What about when we have it in the verb form of the third verb? So we can say, I have held. I have held. So when we have held. This is verb 3. This and this are very similar, or the same, in fact. Number 40 is to bring. Bring your homework to class. He brought me flowers. So, brought is the past form of bring. And it's quite different, isn't it? You can see it's a regular verb, so it's kind of different. And it's this sound, so ought. So let's make it a little bit longer. So we have this sound, brought. Nice and long. And bring, we have this ing at the end. I mean, ing, it's like the continuous sound, right? Ing, walking, doing, sitting. Bring. Bring your homework to class. He brought me flowers. Bring. So from far away to here. Take is the opposite, or we use it in a different way. But bring is take something from somewhere else and take it to me. Bring it to me. Number 41 is to write. Write your name here. She writes poetry. So again, when we're using this kind of this form, when we have the third person, we often use it to talk about somebody's habits. It's often used in this sense. So she writes poetry, it's something she does. So it's either her habit or her state. Write your name is like telling you to do something. Very important to know this, that actually if you want someone to write something for you, maybe you're trying to work out how to say something, and you say, I'm not sure how it looks. Can you please write it? And to ask someone to write something, they'll write it for you. Okay, pronunciation is I, write, write. Nice and easy. Number 42 is to sit. Sit down, please. He sat on the bench. Okay, so this word actually is very simple to say. So sit. Sit down, please, is a very polite way to say to somebody, if you're in a doctor's office or if you go somewhere official, they might say, sit down, please. He sat on the bench. You're telling somebody in the past what somebody did. So sit is this I for present, and then a sound for past. Also make sure that you are more polite with this, for example, because just saying sit to somebody is a little bit more, it can be done, but it's a little bit direct. You might just say with your friends. If your friends come around and say, come on, sit. But if you tell somebody you don't know, sit, then it's quite rude. And you just make sure that you say, oh, sit down, please, or sit there, please, or something more polite. 43, to stand. Please stand up. She stood by the door. It's kind of the opposite of sit down, and this is another quite polite way to tell somebody to stand up. So if you're saying, please sit down, then you would say, please stand up. Actually, this is a phrasal verb, so we don't always have to use this. You can just say, for example, if you're talking to a group of children, you can say, okay, please stand. It's perfectly okay, as long as you say please or something with it. She stood by the door. We're talking about positioning, really. So it's where somebody is. This is past form. She stood by the door. We're telling somebody in the past what happened in the past, where she was. She was by the door. She stood by the door. Pronunciation-wise, we have this stand. Stand. It's a nice, easy word to say. You can practice once or twice. And stood, we have this sound. So stood. She stood by the door. Stand, stood. Notice there's no n sound in the past form, just stood. So number 44 is to lose. I lost my keys. She lost the game. So here we've got two examples actually of the past form. So I lost, she lost. And in this sense we have this. So it's like that. Lost, oh sound. But when we look at it in its infinitive form, to lose, we have this oo sound. So lose. Okay? Just be careful with your pronunciation of lose and this word loose, because this one is very similar, but this one you actually say this. This is actually dots, not Luis. So lose. Okay, so just be careful. So loose is when something's not secure, but lose is when we're looking at the verb, to lose my keys. Okay? Very important to know. All right. So there are your 44 essential verbs, and to be honest with you, they are the most useful. And if you know these, you can construct all sorts of sentences, you can ask many questions, and you can really talk to people in a way that they'll understand you. And remember, you can go back and you can go on that I above and you can go through our slides and just practice the pronunciation. Now, we have prepared a test for you, and the test is here. So click on this video here if you want to go through and test your level. And let's hope after this video it grows a little bit. I think it will. So fantastic. See you next time on ISpeakSpokeSpoken.com.